Hey y'all, hey, it's JJ Conway. Welcome to Building Wealth Together, where our goal is to help you walk in abundance and leave a legacy. It's Juice with JJ. This is where I keep you informed about scams, financial controversies, and money shenanigans so you can keep your cash flow out of their pockets and funding your dreams. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, it's JJ Conway. I'm excited for you all to join me for today's Juice with JJ. Today we're going to be talking about women and wealth. There are issues with women of color, especially in the South, creating and sustaining businesses. I promise this isn't going to turn into another Black girl in the South rant. There are issues with women of color, Hispanic, Black, Asian. There are issues with women of color, especially in the South, creating and sustaining businesses, not because women aren't capable, but because as women rise up at a certain level, the establishment decides to let you know that you have outstepped your bounds, and they decide to let you know you need to stay in your place. And for those of you who don't have a business in the South, or you're not a woman of color in the South with a business, you may not know what I'm talking about. But if you'll talk to some friends who've shared that experience, you will understand and get a very eye-opening account of all the things that happened. And so for me, it was really surprising to me when I moved to Shreveport, Louisiana. I was active duty Air Force. And when I met all of these amazing women, like women that in DC and other places, they had done all these great things. Some of them had amassed a very significant amount of wealth, but you would not know it to look at them. And I'm not even just talking about the everyday millionaire, your money or your life, millionaire next door. You know, all those books talk about how most wealthy people lead very low key lives. They're not flashing the Louis Vuittons and the 7 Series and all those things. They're not flashing a lot of that, most millionaires in our world, right? Or at least in this culture. And but this is beyond that. This is I'm wearing the raggedy hat with the raggedy hair, and I'm playing with my grandkids in the park. And to you, I just look like every other person in the rest of the world. And people who have wealth are every other person to the rest of the world. But it just seems strange to me that we wouldn't be able to enjoy more of the fruit of our wealth. And so as I began to build relationships with some of these women, because like I said, they have done amazing things, and I would tell you the things that they did, but I wouldn't want to blow their cover, right? And this pattern began to emerge. It wasn't just the societal thing of women in wealth. And we do have a societal thing about women in wealth, right? Because women today still only make 80% of what men make for the same job, doing the same work with the same qualifications. And for women of color, that's dropped down to 42%, okay? Those are hard statistics. That's not me making stuff up, although some people could argue any statistic is made up, right? 99% of all statistics are made up, right? But that's Department of Labor and WealthX and all those calculations go into those kinds of numbers, right? I didn't just pull them out of thin air. So we have an issue with women in wealth. But here was the additional issue that women of color in the South had, which was if I build too much wealth, now I have to be put in my place. I build my wealth. I come home. I want to just live a quiet, peaceful life. I don't want to keep fighting. I don't want false scandal after false scandal brought against me. I just want to have a nice, quiet life with my kids and my grandkids and enjoy the fruit of my labor. And so there's a lot of that's wrapped up in that. And I don't have the answers of how women can really move past that. But I do think the first step is to talk about it. Because when we sat down the other day to think about what do you really want, you know, a lot of the other ladies were talking about the love of their family and being surrounded by family and friends and all these other things. And I was like, I want to build wealth. I want to do good for God's kingdom. And I want people to respect me. Right. And it's like, well, don't you care about love? Don't you care about friends? I'm like, yeah, I would love to have friends and I care about love. But I have been shown a different side of the world than many of the women in that group who don't look like me. We all share the gender struggle, but they don't look like me and they don't have my background. They also don't have the shared history of what women who look like me go through when they find themselves building wealth. And so I hope you've enjoyed this Juice with JJ. I hope it's spurred some discussion amongst you and your friends to figure out what we can do to solve this problem of women appearing, maybe not always actually, but women appearing to be ashamed of building wealth. This has got to change if we want to have accessibility and equality for all people. I'm JJ Conway. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all take care and be blessed. Love the podcast? Be sure to like, subscribe, and forward to 3 friends. You can ask a question or take a life-changing class at buildingwealthtogether.com. Now, go walk in abundance and leave a legacy.